Hi there, it's David Young, the Resourceful Coach, and we're stuck indoors at the moment. It's not great weather here in the UK, everything's frozen, so we're having to do a video indoors. And the video today we're going to talk about is a sort of a data system called Shots Gained. Now, we've mentioned this before, we've talked about this book before called Every Shot Counts. Great book. If you're serious about your golf, you want good ways of understanding your data, improving your strategies, how to play the game. This is, for me, a must if you want to really improve your game. It's written by a guy called Mark Brody, and he sort of looked at how old and old data, as I would call it, was being used, and he didn't feel it was really giving a true idea of how we are playing. And especially what I've developed is we're using this data now to show you as amateur golfers what maybe you need to improve to get better. Okay, so let's get rid of that book. But again, we'll put the link on there so you can have a look at that book, and if you want to buy it, please do. But it's a really good book. Now, we're going back a few years ago. When that book came out, I contacted Mark and said, look, all the data in that book is very much around the PGA Tour. What is there out there for amateur golfers? And at the time, there wasn't really anything. And what Mark was very happy for me to do, I do majority of my golf lessons on the golf course. And he said, well, okay, see if you can develop the idea around your lessons. And that's what I did. So I've developed data which allows me to look at every player that I look at relative to the handicap, and I've covered it really through about 6-7 different categories of handicap. So scratch, 4 handicap, 8, 11, 14, 18. Do go up a little bit higher if needed, but majority of golfers come to me, even they might be a little bit higher than that, so I'd like to get to 18 handicap. So I have data that allows me to look at their tee shots, their fairway shots, rough, bunker, and what we call recovery shots for every 20 yards on the golf course. So it shows me everything. And this is the whole idea of Shots Gained. It's like a data system that allows you to understand on average what you should do for your level from any position on the golf course. And it also allows us, if we start to analyze your game regularly, we can look at it and start to understand. If we look at 4 areas of the game, you're driving, shots outside 100 yards, shots inside 100 yards, and you're putting, where your strengths and weaknesses may be. Now, what we're going to do at the end of the video, we're going to give you a chance to send me some of your data. And please do this, because I want to show you how, for one particular area of the game, we can look at it and understand for your level how well you're doing. Okay, so this is just something I'm going to do, run it through January, but we'll talk about that later because I want to talk more about how Shots Gained works. So we're going to look at sort of 2 different aspects here. We're going to relate it all to a player shooting around about 80. Okay, so this data stays consistent throughout. And as I said, everything about it is a relative to your average game. That's what we're looking to do. And what I find is when I go on the course with people and you start to say that, okay, they hit a shot and they end up in a certain position, because it isn't exactly the perfect shot, they start to get upset. And then I suddenly say, well, for your level, that's about what you're meant to do. They go, oh, really? And they start to relax a little bit and realize, yeah, they don't have to hit the perfect shot every time. So here's some data for that player shooting around about 80. And we're going to break it down into sort of 4 different positions that we might be on the golf course. So number 1, we're going to look at what is an average length of hole, and that's the baseline number that we always look at, the length of hole that would be a par 4 for a player playing off around about 8-9 handicap. And that distance is 280 yards. If you're playing a 280 yard hole on average, you should par it at that level. So what should I do as I go down that hole? Well, on the tee, 280 yards, if I can now hit my drive approximately 200 to 220 yards down the fairway, okay, I've now got a 60, 80 yard shot into the green. On average, I'm going to take 3 shots from this position. So you can see what we've done. We've 4 on the tee, we've advanced it 200 to 220, we're now on average going to take 3. We should still be on par to make our 4 on that hole. Now from that position, on average, I need to put the ball approximately 20 feet from the hole. And if I do that, on average, I will 2-putt from that position. So I'm going to 2-putt from there. I've taken 2 shots to get there. I'm still on par to make my 4. And then I 2-putt it. There's my 4. So that would be the basic par hole. So that's a good benchmark to look at. If you want to play off single figures, go and play a hole approximately 280 yards. If you can consistently make a 4 on that hole, you are going to play to that level of golf. That's what we're looking for. Now, let's look more at a slightly longer hole. Let's add 100 yards. Let's make it a 380 yard hole. And on average now, what we would find is that the player playing that hole is going to still advance it 200, 220 off the tee and have around about 160, 180 yards. But this is a hole now, on average, you're going to par half the time, bogey half the time. So I've advanced it now to the position where on average I'm going to take, on average, somewhere around about 3.5 shots. Sometimes 3, sometimes 4, but I'm still on par for what I should be doing for my level. My second shot then is going to end up around about 70 feet away from the hole. And this is a position, again, on average I'll get down in 2, 50% of the time, 3, 50% of the time. So I'm still on average going to 4.5 that hole, if that makes, as we're going along here. And then I would putt it out and see what I would get from that position. And why this system is so much better than the old system is it starts to show you on average what you need to do from each position on the golf course. Now if we look at old data worked around 3 bits of data. Number 1, fairways in regulation. Well, that one's true enough, but if I I could top a ball along the fairway and it ends up 150 yards, I could hit one absolutely pure off the face and hit it 250 yards, and my data would say they were the same shot. I've hit the fairway. So you can see the difference there. So the gain of being able to hit that ball a little bit further is a massive gain within the game. So driving, for me, not too bad, but you can see the difference that we're saying there. But the second bit of data we used to use, greens in regulation, is the massive one. That's the ego killer of golf. Because if we look at the average golfer, you guys are only hitting somewhere between 4 and 6 greens in regulation around. And yet, all they say, how well are you doing on greens in regulation? Well, you think I should be hitting 18. Well, a tour player hits on average 12 to 13. So he's not hitting 18. Even if you sat down with Tiger Woods and said, look, how many tournaments have you played where you've hit 18 greens in regulation, let's say 2 of the 4 rounds, and he'd probably look at you and laugh at you. It just isn't that easy to do. So this is a really bad stat. It's a stat I would take completely out of your game unless you are 5 handicap or lower. Because then you should be hitting, probably getting close to 10 greens in regulation. But even then, you're only just hitting over half. So even then, you're still failing 50% of the time. It's an ego killer. Putting, again, what do we tend to look at? The benchmark is to 2-putt every green. So let's say we have 2 golfers. Let's say we'll go to that single figure golfer, and let's say 2 golfers have 36 putts. They get in the clubhouse, they go great. One's quite happy, one's a little bit frustrated. So let's say the frustrated golfer on average was putting from 10 feet every time he went onto the green, and yet he 2-putted every time. Well, he's going to be slightly frustrated because my data shows that from 10 feet as a single figure golfer, you should be holing about 1 in 5. So this becomes what I call a 1.8 putt. Every time you 2-putt it, you're losing 0.2 of a shot. And he's done 18 of them. So that's a loss of 3.6 shots. Now his mate is 30 feet away on average. As we mentioned, well, I may have not mentioned it, but we've said 20 feet is your benchmark. For roughly every 10 feet you get further away from the hole, you're going to lose 0.1 of a shot. So the fact that he's averaging 2.1 from there, but today he's taken 2, he's gained 0.1 of a shot every hole. So he's gained 1.8 shots through his round. The other player has lost 3.6 shots. We're talking about a 5-point shot differential. Yet the old data would say they were the same. So just look at that. And this is the data I want you to send me. So in the comments page, okay, go into it. Please write a comment, and I want you to send me 3 bits of information. Number 1, your handicap. Really important, because I need to go to whichever set of data I have, my stats, to look at that and look at the data and go, okay, this guy's off 8, that's the column I'm going to look at. If you're 14, I will look at that column. If you're not exactly those numbers, it doesn't matter. If you're 16 handicap, we will go to the closest one. That's fine. Okay, so first bit of information, handicap. Second bit of information, I want at least 9 holes. I would like 18. Okay, because the more data, the better. So if we look at it and we get 18 holes. So let's say you walk onto the first green. These are the 2 bits of information on the green I need. Number 1, how far you are away from the hole. Number 2, how many putts you take. That's it. I don't need to know how far you hit the first putt in relative to the hole. I just need to know you were 20 feet, let's say, away, and I 2-putted it. That's it. Now, to work out that distance, as long as it's within 2 or 3 feet, again, the data will be pretty accurate, what we're sending back to you. But approximately for me, I'm about 5'9", 5'10". My pace, comfortable pace, about 2.5 feet. So for me, 4 pace is approximately 10 feet. So that's all I would do. Just pace it out. Suddenly you pace out 12 paces. You look at that, go, I'm 30 feet away. I 2-putted it. That's all I need to know. Hole 1, 30 feet, 2 putts. Hole 2, 12 feet, 1 putt. Hole 3, 15 feet, 3 putts. That's all I need to know. I can go to my chart, look at it. At the end of it, what I will send you back relative to your handicap is whether you've gained or lost on your putting on that given day. And the more data we can get, the more you start to understand, is my putting good enough for my level? Or is it worse than that? Or is it better than that? You may be surprised. I've had people quite shocked, especially low handicappers who come and say, I only had 31 putts today. And I said, yeah, but your first putt on 6 of the greens was inside 10 feet. As a 3 handicap golfer, you should be holding a few more of them. You shouldn't be missing so many of those putts. So it's all relative to your level. It's all relative to the distance you are from the hole. So let's just recap the 3 bits of information. Number 1, handicap. Number 2, distance from the hole. Number 3, how many putts you took. That's it, simple as that. And if you send me that data, and I'm going to run this, say, through the rest of January, okay, 2026, we're just coming into the new year. So you'll get this video, I would say, around about mid-January. There's a couple of weeks there. So if you get out and play 2 or 3 rounds, send me 3 lots of data. Within 24 hours, I will return the data for that lesson. Okay, or that round, sorry. Please send me them individually. Okay, don't store them up, because again, that will give me more work. I'll get it done very, very quickly. So every time you play around and you want this data, please send it through to me. I hope you've enjoyed that video. For me, it's revolutionized how I teach golf, because it shows golfers what they honestly need to achieve for their level. But more importantly, it takes the stress off the golfer, because the golf on TV is very much around, we call it golf highlights because you want to see the good shots. And all golf is done that way. For me, you need to realize we all play poor shots. So this data will show us maybe where certain areas of your game need improvement and certain areas just keep doing what you're doing. And that will make a big difference to your game. If you have enjoyed the video, and with that idea of the data we're sending, please share this with your friends. Get them to send their data through as well. Okay, for me, hopefully it's going to be a nice busy January sending all this data back to you. If you have enjoyed the video, as I said, please share it with your friends. Press that little bell for notifications, and I look forward to seeing you soon.